it's really interesting too that you mentioned was like, you find people who, especially who are hosts of a show, and like sometimes when they do crime and they're doing a lot of things. And I think over time, it's so funny and I kind of feel this, I don't know if you feel about the same way, but like some people, there was a point where we believed all the hosts of channels like this. And all of a sudden there's a point where it actually dropped where like people are like, oh, there's no way. It's not real. Like there's no way, and why do you think that is? Like, why do you think that like there's a stigma around like, things are just sort of like now people don't believe anything what they say?
I know, and it's really discouraging. I don't know. I don't know how that ended up happening because I feel I can just speak from my own experience as a reporter and as a host and now as a production company owner. One of the things I really considered a privilege was being a person that people would look to as a person on the ground who they could trust. And so I did not take it lightly that I was a purveyor of information. And I remember someone said something disparaging about that. And, as you said, why take any stock in that? And I think that that's something that you should take seriously. Mm-hmm. I just feel like there is value in holding the responsibility of being someone who provides information to others. And that is the mission company of my statement, of my company. My statement is providing information to create transformation. Whatever I create, I want it to be something that is beneficial to the world, allows you to think. And if it allows you to even change the way you may do something, then I feel like I have accomplished my goal. So I think it's unfortunate that there is that dynamic. I think part of it is because everything has become so sensational.
Right.
But I do think there's value in being honest and authentic and having good intentions behind what you put out there.
Totally. And do you find like, because I know you've obviously been a host and you've interviewed probably a lot of people on different things, like, and as a host, it's really interesting is that, you actually have to be an interviewer to actually ask the right questions on the right topic. So like, what do you find is, because I know you're obviously more of the expert than I am on this, but like, well, I guess for like people like who would like to, because a lot of people have businesses, they always want to ask the right questions to help other people. What do you find how do you find the right questions is I guess my question to you is like, how do you find the right question for the right people?
Well, what I do is not only when I approach my own business, but say, for example, when I do videos for nonprofits as well. So I have these two arms of my companies. I have the films that I do that have been on PBS that have these stories about history. And then when I work for nonprofits, the whole purpose is, what is it that you are trying to accomplish? Who are you trying to reach? And why? What is your story? And why do you think that's important? So, for example, the nonprofits that I connect with, I ask them, what is your mission? What is your ultimate goal? What is the desire that you achieve? And that's really what storytelling is.
Yeah.
There is a desire to reach a certain point, a certain goal. And so, for example, I have done work for a nonprofit housing group. They create initiatives to create more affordable housing in specific areas of the country. And so when I do work with them, I ask them, well, what have you accomplished? What are you trying to accomplish? What are you trying to let people know who you are trying to raise money, for? And they really tell me, well, we look at who's hurting out there, who needs our help. And this is what we're doing to make that difference.
Yeah.
And so I think that's how I get those questions out of people. It's, what is your driving, motivating factor to do what you do? What is your desire to do what you do, and why?